On March 7, 1965, a nonviolent march was led by John Lewis, the leader of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and Reverend Jose Williams. The march was 54 miles, which was from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama, the capital of Alabama. And the marchers were protesting the denial of voting rights toward African Americans because of Jim Crow laws and the murder of 26-year-old activist Jimmy Lee Jackson, who had been fatally shot days before in the stomach by police during a peaceful protest. The marchers were crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge on the way to Montgomery when they were faced with an overwhelming amount of police. When the protesters didn't immediately obey the police orders to turn back, they were faced with police on horseback chasing them and brutally attacking them. Many demonstrators were severely injured, and pictures and videos of the violence and attacks were broadcasted on national TV. Since broadcasted throughout the United States, the public was in an uproar, and sympathizers led sit-ins, traffic blockades, and other demonstrations to show their support to the protesters. And 2 days later in Selma, Martin Luther King Jr. tried again to have a march. However, they were again blocked at the bridge and had to turn back. Finally, on March 21st, with the federal court approval, the protesters were able to march with full protection of the National Guard to Montgomery, Alabama. Once they reached Montgomery on the fourth day, the crowd was soaring to 25,000, and eventually Bloody Sunday and the Selma marches swayed public's opinion and catalyzed Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And Lyndon B. Johnson signed it on August 6, 1965. The importance of Bloody Sunday was that it got the media coverage for police brutality toward nonviolent protesters and African Americans, and more importantly, it gave voting rights to African Americans. Before, African Americans were allowed to vote, however, due to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. However, Jim Crow laws, and especially in the Deep South, made it impossible for African Americans to vote because local government would require them to take literacy tests before they were able to vote, which was extremely unfair and wrong, because even if the people were to pass said tests, the government would still find a way for them not to be able to vote. And the voting rights were very important to get the deserving people the right to vote. And it was also a major win in the civil rights movement, as African Americans were finally able to start getting the rights that they deserve. The lasting legacy Bloody Sunday had on slavery was tremendous, as it was a huge step in the right direction towards equal rights.